So good day everyone, and today we are going to discuss another literary piece entitled Gentlemen Prefer Blondes by Anita Loos. But before that, we have first the content in order for us to be guided. We have the background of the work, the author's background, character web, the characterization, the plot, the styles of the author, the theme, the cultural implication, and lastly is the implication of the title. So first, we have the background of the work. So Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is a six-chapter novel that is written by Anita Loos in the year 1925. It is about the escapades and dalliances of a young blonde girl. It is one of those novels that explore the hedonism jazz age. So it was an instant success the moment it hit the bookstores, in which all of the copies being released are all sold. Luz was inspired to write his novel when she saw her friend lose his coolness when he met a beautiful blondie girl. For the author's background, so the author of this novel is Anita Loos. So this is Anita. She is an American actress, a novelist, a playwright, and a screenwriter. So she was born on April 26, 1888 in Season, California, and died on August 18, 1981 at the age of 93. She was the daughter of Richard Beers Loos, who is a theater producer, and Minnie Ellen Smith, who is a graduate of Mills Seminary for Young Ladies of Quality. So Loos was also known for her famous novels and screenplays. She is also considered as an extraordinary, barbed genius of the silent era, Hollywood and Broadway. So we also have the character web. So for the character, we have Lorelai. We have Dorothy Shaw as the friend of Lorelai, Henry Spofford as the fiancé of Lorelai, Gus Eastman as her sugar daddy, and Edward Goldmark and Gilbertson Montrose as her flings. So let's proceed now to the characterization. First, we have Lorelai Lee, who is a young blonde girl who loves fancy and expensive things. We also have Dorothy Shaw, who is a world-weary brunette companion and a friend of Lorelai. Henry Spofford, who is a staunch Presbyterian reformer and a film censor. Sir Francis Bigman, who is the one who gives Lorelai a tiara as an exchange for her affection. We also have Gus Eastman as a businessman in Chicago whom Lorelai called Daddy. Edward Goldmark, who is the film producer Lorelai meets. And last is Gilbert Montrose, who is the handsome young Hollywood screenwriter that Lorelai plans to have an extramarital affair. Plot. So Lorelai was working in Hollywood movies where she met Gus Eastman. So Lorelai has been working in the Hollywood movie where she met Mr. Eastman, who is a businessman in Chicago. So Lorelai usually call her a daddy. He provide Lorelai everything that she need, and he even visit her whenever he was in the town. So she meets Jerry Lamson, the married English novelist. So Mr. Lamson was worried upon knowing Lorelai's connection to Mr. Eastman. He wants to save her by asking her to marry him, but Lorelai didn't accept her proposal and raised her eyebrow instead. So Lorelai and Dorothy is having a trip paid by Mr. Aceman. So while they are on the ship, Lorelai was so upset because she found out that Mr. Bartlett, who is a former district attorney, was also there. He was the lawyer who hired her as a stenographer and whom she take her revenge by seducing him and revealing confidential information about his senatorial activities and plans. She felt relief when they already arrived at the hotel. And it is when she meets an old matron selling a diamond tiara. So the diamond tiara caught the attention of Lorelai, and she really wanted to have that tiara. So she looked around hoping to see a rich guy who can buy it for her. And luckily, she saw Francis Beekman, also known as Piggy. Through flattering words and promises, Lorelai was able to convince him to buy that tiara. So Mr. Beekman's wife confronted Lorelai about the tiara and threatened her. So when Mr. Beekman's wife found out about the tiara, she confronted Lorelai and told her to return the tiara. And if she won't return it, she will ruin her reputation. So the next morning, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Beekman, together with their lawyer, arrived at the hotel. They are mesmerized by the beauty of Lorelai. So instead of confronting her, they invite her to eat with them and charge it to Lady Beekman. So Lorelai was able to fool them by giving them the fake tiara without them noticing it. So Mr. Aceman arrived and go for a shopping with Lorelai. So he bought whatever Lorelai wants and later on go to Vienna and leave her at the Orient Express. And there she meets Henry Spofford, who is a staunch Presbyterian, prohibitionist, and also a moral reformer. In order to gain his trust, she pretends that she was also like him and that she's trying to save her friend Dorothy from her sinful lifestyle. So they eat at Demille restaurant and overhears Spofford being warned by his mother. So Lorelai is afraid that her past will be revealed to Spofford, so she interrupted the conversation and told her story in a sympathetic way. So their meal at the same time meeting Spofford's mother becomes successful and a relief to Lorelai because she was able to hide her past. So Mr. Spofford proposed to Lorelai and gave his college ring as an engagement. So Mr. Spofford proposed to her through a letter. So Lorelai is planning to use that letter in order to get some money from Spofford's family. But before she go back to New York, Mr. Spofford gives his college ring as an engagement. She was not contented because she was expecting something precious and expensive. But she lied and told him that she likes it even if she don't. So Lorelai plans to end her engagement with Mr. Spofford. So she spent money in buying everything that she likes and go shopping and charge it to Mr. Spofford. But her friend Dorothy was not happy of what she's doing, so she told Spofford about Lorelai's activities. So Meanwhile, Lorelai meets Gilbert Montrose, who is a movie scenario writer. She told Lorelai that marrying Spofford is a nice decision so that he can finance his new movie. So Lorelai decided to continue the marriage between her and Spofford and told him that she did those things in order to test his love for her. So Spofford was so amazed and at the same time happy. So Spofford promised to marry her and finance Montrose' film. So next is the styles of the author. First, we have the conflict. So the conflict is man versus himself because the problem in the story evolved in Lorelai herself. It is between her um her wants in life and the reality that she is not that wealthy to provide her personal needs. The flashback. She recounts a dubious backstory in which a lawyer once hired her as a stenographer. So she was looking back at the time where a lawyer hired her as a stenographer. We also have the foreshadowing. So Lady Bigman threatened Lorelai that she will ruin her reputation if she will not return the tiara. So the foreshadowing gives an idea about what will happen next. So in the story, the foreshadowing part is when Mr. Bigman's wife threatened Lorelai that she will going to ruin her reputation if she will not return the tiara. So it gives us an idea of what will happen next. Next is the theme. So first is being greedy for expensive materials will cause you trouble. So just like in the story, Lorelai was being threatened by the wife of Mr. Big's man. We have also happiness brought by expensive things will not last for a long period of time because nothing lasts forever. Everything lasts for only a short period of time. Next is the cultural implication. So the story shows how people use their appearance in fooling and using someone for their own sake. Especially nowadays where most of the women use their beauty to capture someone's attention in order to provide their personal needs. So usually, especially now, women use their physical appearance to capture the attention of men and make them provide whatever they like, especially for personal belongings. We also have the implication of the title. So the novel shows that most of men are more attracted to blondes than those brunette ladies, which means that the outside beauty of a person catches the eyes and attention of the people that surrounds them. So the story reminds us that the outside beauty of a person is not important, but what's important is the inside attitude of a person. So through the story, the author wants to remind us that we should not be fooled by the person appearance because it will give them the chance to use you for their own interest. So that is the story about the gentlemen prefer blondes. I hope you learned something. So that's all. Thank you and God bless.